Hi, friends and family. I decided to start a vlog to record a little bit of my traveling. So once a month, I'll post on YouTube this vlog and just tell a little bit about what I've done this past month. So to start off, I just want to first off thank Jeremy, Britt, and Joey for really encouraging me to do this sort of vlog. I really want to send my love and appreciation. My parents are always so constantly supportive. My aunt Cecilia, who really encouraged me, and Daniel helped me with the idea for the podcast that I'm doing. I'm actually going to go have my first interview right after this. And also all my sisters and friends who've just helped me and supported me along the way. It's incredible to have such a strong support network. So I left Los Angeles on July 31st, and on that flight I ran into Mikkel. And Mikkel was an amazing guy. He was living in Hawaii, so we had all these connections, and he ended up just out of his own goodwill driving me all the way to Amsterdam. We stopped for one night in Wes, where he's from in Belgium, and then from there I met up with Caitlin and Ryan, and they have just been an absolute, just the best hosts, the most supportive. Really made me feel like family, and a wonderful way to start off the trip. I can't thank them enough. They have this beautiful place on the third story in the Pig, overlooking one of the canals, and it's so central to so many places, but also moved away from all of the touristy parts of Amsterdam that make it so congested. So it's really nice and relaxing. They also gave me a month supply to a yoga studio and a bike, Amstel, who's a great bike that I've been using for the past month. So thank you so much to them. And on that first day, it was Pride. It was Pride weekend. So we went out. I was in full beautiful dress thanks to Maddie. And from there we went out to the canals. There's over 80 different floats going through, and the canals are just stuffed with people. Everybody's just having such a great time. It's just boisterous. There's so much noise. There's so much excitement. Colors everywhere. People singing and dancing. Absolute best of times. After that, the events got a little more quiet, a little more regular day activities. Ryan and Caitlin obviously had to work, so I've been spending most of my time really working on just creating habits for myself. And so every day I start off with writing. I write 3 pages a day. I'm reading constantly, and I'm also working on my own personal writing and the podcast. So a lot of that first month was just really getting into the habit of doing all of that. I would go to a lot of parks, just bike along around the city, find different parks and stay in there. Some of my favorite parks were Noorderpark, which you take a little free ferry over, and it's just a gorgeous park, really long, a lot of different spots that you can find, little lakes that you can stop by. And I love that park, and I also really love Westerpark, which is pretty central to Amsterdam Station. And one of the most amazing things, which I think everybody should go to if they come to Amsterdam, is to go to Westerpark, and in the very back of Westerpark, there's this maze of little homes, and it's just this marvelous little space where you could easily go around the entire park and not even see it. You really have to go in and be a part of this mystical, fairy-like land, and I absolutely recommend that for anybody. There's also, of course, all the cheese that you need to eat. There's cheese shops that are just like, the odor just like permeates out into the street. And often they're really connected to a meat shop, and that was something that Caitlin's been really great at whenever someone comes over. She has incredible cheese and meat board, so that's definitely a recommendation. The art galleries here are amazing. You go to the main square, and they have about 4 different galleries all around. And I went to the Van Gogh Museum, which is an absolutely incredible view of his life, and it's a reflection and a reminder that our progress isn't linear, right? He worked and worked and worked and worked for so many years, and only really blossomed in the last 10 years of his life, and wasn't famous until well after his death. The Moco Museum, which is a modern museum, has this current exhibit on Banksy, and street artist who I absolutely love. Strange to see him in a gallery, kind of antithesis to what he is about, but still really enjoyed that exhibit. Looking over here on my notes, see what else I was able to get up to. But yeah, I think just in general, being in Amsterdam to start off, being with Caitlin and Ryan, just meeting all their friends, it was an absolutely fantastic way to start. And of course, Caitlin was very adamant about celebrating my birthday, and I am so thankful for that. And one night we decided, kind of spontaneously, to go to Barcelona. And so for my birthday, we went off on August 13th. We flew to Barcelona. We stayed at one of her friends' houses. They were out of town, unfortunately. But it was just perfect. The weather was wonderful, so warm. The streets have these tiny little streets that you walk through. The buildings are almost hanging over. We're in this Gothic area of Barcelona, really close to the beach. So actually our first event was, once we dropped off our bags, was to go off and enjoy the beach, just relax on the sand, swim around the water. People are walking all by selling different drinks and food. Just a really nice and fun environment. After that, we checked out the Gaudi architecture, which is just otherworldly and pretty amazing to see, and something you have to see if you are going to be going into and visiting Barcelona. Then another huge must is the seafood. This is not going to be an exaggeration. I've never had better octopus in my life. It was absolutely incredible, and all the different restaurants that we went to, by the way, all the different names of places I will put into the section below, but that was absolutely phenomenal, and I will order squid and octopus whenever I go to a Spanish restaurant in the future. I went to this incredible hike on one of the second days, meeting with one of Caitlin's really good friends. It was the Jardin de Mirador, and just a perfect way to check out the whole city. Great overview, really beautiful. You get to go around and see the main part of the city, and then go around and see the port of Barcelona. And we did a kind of a full circle. We came down to the Olympic Park. There's another museum there, which is one of the largest museums in Barcelona. And then we walked all the way back to the city. So a nice amount of walking, good solid hike. And then afterward, a couple of events we did. There was I did a tour. One of Caitlin's friends is a tour guide, and so we went on a tour guide of the Gothic area. Got to see all of that, which was really special. And more seafood, more eating, lots of eating. And then on my birthday, just a fantastic day. The weather is fabulous. We had a wonderful breakfast. It's a great time with some of our friends. And then it really hit hard when we went to the flamenco show. The flamenco show was just otherworldly. I was immersed in this dance and song for half an hour, and I wanted to see more of it. But after that, we went to another great seafood restaurant, and then to the Gracia Festival. And this happens to happen in this weekend, which is around my birthday every year, and it was absolutely astounding. It was a entire city area, about like 15 different street blocks that each had their own concert. They all had their own decorations, and so you go into this world that looks like this underground or underwater garden, or another place that has these color panels everywhere, or another place that's kind of like this outer space alien UFO kind of style. And so all different types of decorations, people dancing everywhere, enjoying themselves. And we were out all night. I was out dancing and having a great time with friends I met, and didn't get back to the apartment till 6 a.m. So that was a great way to celebrate my birthday. After that, I went to Scotland. A recommendation from a couple of incredible friends. Adam Rosa was one of the big people to really push me to go that way. And I went to Edinburgh first, which was having the Fringe Festival. And I had heard about the Fringe. I heard it was a really fun event, lots of comedy and theater, circus, and all sorts of events. But I didn't quite understand how pervasive it was throughout the city. It's just jam-packed with people who are trying to get their name out there and trying to convince people to come to their shows. And every different building has another venue. And it's overwhelming, but exciting. There's so much positive, creative energy, and it goes on for a whole month. And obviously, the locals hate it because it kind of just crashes into their city and completely changes it for a month. But to experience it in the 5 days I did, it was quite enjoyable. I went to a couple great shows. One particularly, there was a lot of free shows, so I did most of those. And the one I did pay for was a fundraiser for the environment that was headlined by Eddie Izzard. And he's someone I've always wanted to see. So I was really lucky to be able to do that. What else did I do? Edinburgh is a city of writers, and I didn't know this before. A kind of great way for me as I'm working on my writing to be involved with that. I went to the cafe, the Elephant Home, where J.K. Rowling wrote a lot of her chapters for Harry Potter. I did a Harry Potter tour, which was quite fun. But also great writers of, Treasure Island and Mysterious Case of Dr. Jinkle and all these incredible writers of the Sherlock Holmes series. All of them came from Edinburgh, and so it was kind of really interesting. There's actually a writers' museum that kind of gives you this overview of their life and the impact Edinburgh had on them. So that was kind of a special, unique part of the experience as well. Then this is the thing that I absolutely loved about Scotland, was the Highlands and Isle of Skye. If you come to Scotland, you do nothing else, please go to the West Coast and experience the Highlands and Isle of Skye. Absolutely astounding. And I also am extremely lucky that we had clear blue skies and warm weather, because it is normally cloudy and raining and just not the most pleasant of weather, but we absolutely had the best weather. And so I rented a car. A friend that I met with, Caitlin, Louise, came and joined, and we drove to Loch Lomond. We just stayed in the car, camped in the car, and from there we went up through the Highlands. The Highlands are just these massive, massive mountains and these valleys that you drive through. The first time we just drove all the way through, stopped along the way, had some food here and there, had the best fish and chips I've had, salmon fish and chips, and a halak, just type of fish and chips as well. Then, because of the weather, we're like, oh, we got to go to Isle of Skye, and so we decided to go there first. And again, just perfect weather. We saw all these different parts. We did a full circle around the islands, and we just had just incredible hikes and time in the water. The fairy pools was a huge highlight, where you jump into all these different ponds and the waterfalls along the way. There's this one pond that has this actually underwater tunnel, and so you can go under. It's about 3 meters, and then you go through, and that was pretty remarkable. And as we were leaving too, we get to see a little bit of that cloudiness come through and fill up this valley. So we were incredibly lucky with that. And the next day we went to the Highlands, and if I had more time, I would want to do the full 7-day hike throughout the Highlands. But we did 2 separate hikes: the Devil's Stairwell and also the Lost Valley. And if you had to choose one, the Lost Valley was just absolutely breathtaking. It's a 4-mile hike up to this peak of the mountain. You go along a waterfall, and then beyond, look over into this valley, and it was otherworldly. So that is a huge, huge push and plug to come explore the nature of Scotland. Absolutely gorgeous. I flew back to Amsterdam on the 28th, celebrated Caitlin's birthday on the 29th, and I went to Hozier on the 1st, and now I'm in Nijmegen with Inge, who's a great friend from Pitzer, from my college. And so it's been a wonderful first month. So many different people and incredible events. I just started the podcast. I'm about to interview a teacher for the first time today, and another one on Friday. So things are going really well. I really appreciate all the kind words and the support that people have been spreading out and sharing and sending their love. And I'm missing you all, and I can't wait to hear from you soon. I will come back in a month to share all of the new and exciting adventures that I've gotten myself into, and I hope to hear from you. Bye-bye.